This is the finals of the 2015 North American World Championship qualifier. Cunningham versus Green. That's Burning Abyss versus Burning Abyss. Necros is gone.
That is quite the feat. I was most definitely on Team Necros this whole weekend as for what I was rooting for, but it looks like my my hopes have been dashed to the wind.
Have been frozen out.
Yes.
Like the icy cold grip of El Shaddai Noyatilis.
Yeah.
If you asked me before the event which deck I would have played, I actually would have said BA, the Secret Village of the Spellcasters version.
Oh, yes.
But it turns out that neither of them are running this version. They're just running regular old Burning Abyss with a whole lot of traps, and a whole lot of special summoning. We have, I believe we've seen both of these duels before. We definitely saw Cunningham.
Yeah, we saw Cunningham.
No, we have not seen him.
Yeah, I wasn't in the booth for Green, if you guys may have featured him earlier. But
yeah, we did not. He may have been on the written side. Check out the official coverage blog if you want to see more feature matches. We've had at least one written match per round in addition to all of these video feature matches. So if you just want to relive everything, or you just can't get enough North American World Championship qualifier, definitely check it out.
most definitely. And as you were talking about the Secret Village version of Burning Abyss, there's also a tech update article on the official blog about the Secret Village Burning Abyss deck, along with the other ways that the other decks are incorporating Secret Village of the Spellcasters into their decks.
And I want to say there's even one Burning Abyss that made it that was side decking into the Secret Village deck. I believe that might have been Cunningham.
I believe that was Cunningham.
Yeah, I think entering this tournament, I actually would have assumed that the most popular variant was the like a heavy trap version that sided Secret Village.
Yeah, I love
with
that. That's really good.
You may be proven right here.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how right I'm proven now, I'm still unfortunately saddened by the lack of Necros in this final. So
no, I'm fine with this. Burning Abyss is cool, other than the fact that I can barely tell them apart from up here.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm surprised that Necros didn't take the event.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many cards that just beat Necros decks.
I mean,
duelists have spent months figuring out which cards those are.
The problem is it's all the other decks. Even if you're using all those cards, if you don't run into enough Necros decks early enough, you can just get knocked out in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, that is true, but I feel like because of the increasing presence of Necros that we've been seeing in recent tournaments, more and more players are using more and more answers to Necros. And even if they are wiping each other out early in the tournament, decks with strong matchups against Necros are surviving. And then when they get to day 2, as we saw today, those Necros decks are falling.
Yeah. So how good is Crush Card Virus on the Burning Abyss mirror? Because it seems like Cunningham.
It is abysmal.
Super bad.
Abysmal.
All right.
You allow your... First of all, it doesn't hit that many cards. And the cards that it does hit...
Exeer and
Barbar.
Yeah, they all activate their effects. Then your opponent gets to send 3 more cards from his deck to his graveyard to activate their effects.
Yeah, so clearly not the best card.
I would expect that he will not activate it.
What's actually kind of... interesting to consider is we watched the last match, which actually had like a lot riding on it. You know, a trip to Japan, qualification for Worlds, whereas I'm sure both these players are just so stoked that they're going to Japan that they may not even necessarily care too much who wins because they're so happy right now.
No, Green starts out by special summoning Seer, normal summoning Graph, and sending 3 cards to the graveyard. He's hit Rubik Mathematician and a spell.
Yeah.
Graph summons out Skarm. And he's got a lot more monsters where that came from, and a Fiend Griefing, which could be huge in this particular match.
Yeah.
Especially if you can grab the target of a Dante or a Seer.
He also has an Effect Veiler in his hand, so although that's only very good against Tour Guide of the Underworld, or if Cunningham commits to a Virgil play, we could see it do something, hopefully.
And slight correction, that was a Skarm that he hit off of Dante, not a Rubik, and so he's able to get Tour Guide. Effect Veiler
on
activated on
Mathematician
another
and Burning
card,
Abyss matchup.
That's rough. That's rough, but Cunningham has a pile of traps. Oh, one of them's that. No, it's 2 breakthrough skills?
Looks like a Solemn Warning breakthrough skill and a Crush card. That Crush card
is not.
He's not even going to set it
because you you don't want to get rid of it if you do that. Leave it in
Oh,
your
yeah,
hand,
that's
discard
right.
it for a discard trap.
That's right. I was thinking set it as a bluff. Maybe your opponent will destroy it. But if you get stuck in your back row, you can't special summon your Burning Abyss monsters. So he's correctly leaving it in his hand.
He's hit Liebig off of his Dante. Does he have any cards in hand to summon with it?
Well, he searched something with Skarm last turn, right? So he has to
Yeah,
have
it's
something.
Tour Guide.
Oh, okay. So yes, not the best monster to. Or you can't even special. It's special summons Burning Abyss monsters, right? Yeah,
Yep.
not even 3-star fiends. It's not like Skarm.
Well, even if you were to summon your Tour Guide with the effect negated, that seems pretty not good.
Okay, Solemn Warning is the effect of Graph from the Grave. I have yet to see any super rare Skarms from Astral Pack.
Oh,
And-
we've seen them. They're
oh,
great.
man, I've yet to see one.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping to see one eventually, but haven't so far.
You
It
can
doesn't
tell-
look like either duelist has one here.
Normal summons Rubik.
Dante. I've had a bit of experience in this mirror match from formats past, and although I'm sure it's altered
Wow.
slightly. Oh, geez.
He's hit the Farfa.
Yeah. Usually this matchup comes down to a lot of like who can get all their resources going first. So
It
The
looks
fact
like
that-
the answer is no green.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, starting with your Mathematician getting Effect Veil, a card that is not traditionally the best in the against Burning Abyss, and then drawing Crush Card Virus, another card that you do not want against Burning Abyss. He seems like he's pretty far ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he pulled further ahead with that Dante effect,
Yeah.
sending 3 useful cards to his graveyard.
Direct attacks from both.
Looks like he's going to overlay Downward Magicians in main phase 2, guarantee that those Dantes hit the grave rather than get returned to the extra deck by something like Virgil, Phoenix Women Blast, or
Yeah.
maybe even banished by Karma Cut.
It's a wise play.
Yeah.
He took, what, 5,000 there?
Yep.
Did
Looks
he?
like it. Yeah.
What did I thought the breakthrough skill negated Dante's effect?
Oh, that's right. It's a self-pumping effect, so after it resolves,
Yeah,
When it's
even
negated again,
you
it would
can
drop
break through
back
skill.
down.
Yeah. We'll try to get that error fixed. I'm sure the players realize, as long as it's accurate for the players, then the
Unless I'm mistaken about what happened there. But that's
yeah,
what
he
it
might have
appeared to be
taken the
for me.
damage
Yeah.
and then used it elsewhere, but I don't think
yeah, I
I'd
don't
do
think
that.
so either.
Wouldn't make sense. But
Yeah, going this far, I doubt he would
Right.
make a misstep like that, because it's not even like a different line you could possibly take. It was more so just like, oh, I'm just going to use this now for no reason.
Yep. In addition to saving damage, though, it also gets his spell and trap zones free.
Indeed, yeah. So
yes.
he can.
So he's got the double Mathematician. He can summon that and make a rank 3 out of those, like a Dante of his own, and then start up his own Burning Abyss summons.
Yep. That
Right.
seems
So-
pretty good.
I
Is
like
Cunningham the one that uses Cerberus
yes,
in his deck?
that was him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that card. I'm not sure how great it is in Burning Abyss, but I'm just a fan of that. No, I don't even see it in his deck, unless it is
Is it
just
in
not
his
in his
hand?
deck. Nope. Oh, there,
There
it is.
And it looks like
He
he's
didn't see
reaching
it either.
for
It's
it.
hiding.
I kind of like the flavor of the Cerberus being played in a Burning Abyss deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
works
Right.
for me.
He's the Guardian.
Kind of Guardian of an Underworld. Kind of the derpy version.
Yeah, he's not a dark monster, but he's an honorary member of the Burning Abyss deck.
Cerberus, house pet of the Burning Abyss.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine Mathematician going to take him for a walk.
Yeah.
There's just fire raining down outside.
Yeah, Mathematician used to just go on a lot of dates with Fellas, Lightsworn Archer, but now it seems like he has dropped Fellas for a pet. But, oh man. You
Well,
see,
we've
but
seen-
even this...
We saw Fellas once this weekend, and it was stuck in a Shadow player's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't summon her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Cunningham is playing Felice in his deck.
No, it's
would be a lot
really
of
just
commitment to the
it's just in
Mathematician
Shadal strategies.
Engine.
But like I remember the scariest thing that a Mathematician could do was summon Fellas for a very, very long time.
And Cunningham's life points have been updated. He was at 6,000 for Solemn Warning, and then took 2,500
Okay, yeah.
and 1,000. So
1,000,
they're
that
now
makes-
correct.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Interesting to see if he uses his Mathematicians for an Xyz summon or tries to get extra draws off them by crashing them into the downward.
Yeah, I think
Magicians.
he's trying to get extra draws.
Yeah.
I think if he uses them for Xyz summon, he can get easily punished by Phoenix Women Blast, Karma Cut, anything that will remove the Dante before he gets milled because he's not using... oh, and he gets to trade the Paramount Service. This is good.
This is
real good.
Very good play here.
Yeah, dealing with a trap card during the damage step, so it can't be chained either.
Wow.
Unless it's an attack round. Nope.
Oh,
We're
it
good.
is Regeki Break.
Yep.
And yeah,
And he gets a draw card.
Why is the
From
mathematician-
Farfa. It was detached, I believe. Or nope. Maybe not. I was
Nope.
wrong.
Yeah,
They're
one
just taking
mathematician
another
is
look
destroyed
at,
in battle. The other should still be on the field.
Everybody's just taking a look to make sure that the Xyz materials of Downer Magician are going in the right place.
Yeah.
Okay, now he attacks with his other mathematician
Yeah.
to get another
Get
draw.
card. See
He's
if he
kinda-
can. Though a way to pull himself back here is resolving a big Fire Lake of the Burning
Yeah,
Abyss.
and I think that's what he's reaching for.
Yeah.
And it looks like he can do it, right? He has a Burning Abyss monster in his hand, a Fiend Griefing face down. Does he have a Burning Abyss monster in his hand?
He's got one. It's just Graph, but you need two.
Oh yeah, but with Fiend Griefing.
Yeah, but he could have special summoned
Oh
it.
no. But without Fiend Griefing would normally send grab. Oh actually. Oh yeah, no, because
He has
he can
nothing
send
in
graph
the-
to get Sir and then
Yeah.
distribute the second graph, not getting its effect for the Fire Lake, I guess.
Right, unfortunately. That would be unfortunate, but he looks like he's
Yep.
in
Oh,
much
there's
poorer
Barbar.
shape here.
We might see just Downer Magician trying to attack, Dante detaching, adding back Barbar, and then even normal summoning and having the Downer Magician
Could
Yeah,
be.
burn
cause
out.
the self-destruction. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Barbar.
We
Oh, there's a
might-
super one.
There is a super scar.
That's what I thought was the Rubik on the
Oh,
first
okay,
turn.
see, that makes a lot of sense. The super one looks so good.
Looks so very different.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might be able to win without even connecting an attack.
See,
Thanks to Barbar.
yeah. You mix up the rare one with Farfa, you're going to mix up the super one with Rubik. That's unfortunate. There's no good way to get out of
I
that.
love Burning Abyss, but if I don't have the cards right in front of me,
Yeah, it's a little
it can be a little
difficult.
difficult. Especially because the names aren't any help. They're so long.
Yeah.
that it just gets all crunched up.
Yeah.
Karma Cut is activated on the first Downer Magician, discarding that.
Oh,
graph.
yeah, that
so
makes more
that's
sense,
why
yeah.
he didn't special summon it. Yeah, obviously
Yeah, but
that's
here
much better
you
play.
can get
But
the
he's-
Barbar.
Yeah, he's still in the same trouble that he was in that we mentioned
yeah.
moments ago.
I'm not sure what has impressed me more this weekend, Ritual Beast or Barbar Veil
Barbar.
Branch of the Burning Abyss.
Wow, Barbar competing with an entire deck.
Yep.
Well,
But
he's
what
pretty
impresses you
big.
more?
Like he's
Yeah.
pretty big.
Hey, he's the
Even
biggest
among
Burning
all
Abyss.
of them, Malabranch. He
He's
is the biggest in
he's-
terms of attack points.
Yes.
Not quite up to Ultimate Wizard in terms of attack and defense points, but in terms of attack points, Barbar wins out among his brethren.
Oh man. Just see, but just the fact that I mentioned earlier how good or how much reach kind of the Burning Abyss deck had when your opponent's low on life points with cards like Nightmare Shark or the Nightmare Shark Acid Golem combo, for example. But having Barbar just puts a whole nother spin on that whole thing.
Yeah, it's like Gaga Cowboy and Dark Strike Fighter
I
and
think
all
it's
those other cards
Yeah.
that can just deal damage without going into combat, regardless of what cards your opponent has on the field to stop attacks. And it kind of just outmaneuvers a lot of defensive cards to just steal a victory when you're if you were to actually assess who's ahead, you might think that the player using those cards that deal damage is actually behind.
I'm surprised here that
So
if he had
here's-
Fiend Griefing set, why didn't he try to get rid of the Barbar from the grave when Dante targeted it to add it back?
Probably just a little bit flustered by the way this duel went.
Yeah.
So
Ah,
the other
yes.
thing to note
Could
is that Downer Magician inflicts piercing battle damage. So
Indeed.
even if he gets his graph effect and puts something in defense, it would have to be Rubik.
Oh, to have enough.
Oh,
Now
to
that
survive.
Yeah, now that
many-
Downard is out of materials and is no longer getting the extra 200 points,
Does Downer deal
Off them?
piercing even if it doesn't have any materials?
yes,
Oh, geez.
yes. Going to attack for each Xyz material attached to it. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. This card attacked or was attacked. After damage calculation, detach one Xyz material.
There's Scarm.
So Scarm is big enough to leave him on 100 life points.
There's
And
Barbar.
that's it.
and Barbar
comes back.
finishes it off.
And there's the crowd.
Yep.
I don't know if those at home can hear that, but the crowd is most definitely about as pumped about Barbar as I am. So
Crowd loves Burning Abyss so much that there are 2 Burning Abyss decks
I
in the
love
graveyard.
the flavor
They're
of Barbar because now
finals.
Burning Abyss is actually a burning
Yes.
Abyss deck. This is fantastic
Took a
news.
while, right?
Yes, it took far too long.
No, it took one card apparently.
Well, it took
Yeah.
a year to get there.
Yeah. Well, it's a long journey through the Burning Abyss.
Yeah.
It takes a while. 9 circles. It's a nightmare.
How long did it take Dante to get to the end and reach his
can't even
fusion
remember.
form?
I cannot remember offhand. I'm pretty sure it says in the book,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you offhand, especially after we've been talking for the better part of 2 days.
Yeah. Okay, so thinking about yeah, the duels are probably going to make a bunch of modifications. So that yeah, we see Cunningham have a full set of Maxis, a full set of Galaxy Cyclones, even a Chaos Trap Hole, taking out all the effect negation that necessarily isn't the best, like breakthrough skills, skill drain, etc. And just trying to optimize his deck for the next game. And I assume that Green will be doing the same.
Yeah, the spell and trap removal seems pretty good.
Yeah, although
Anything even remotely Mystical Space Typhoon-like can be helpful.
Like Galaxy Cyclone, because Burning Abyss doesn't really use a lot of continuous spells or trap, especially in the mirror match, right? Like you don't expect maybe a Vanity's Emptiness, but other than that, like, oh, I guess, yeah, you can mill Galaxy Cyclone with a Dante. A big reason why they play so many Galaxy Cyclones in Burning Abyss is because of Dante. Because if you mill it later on, you can get value out of it by banishing and destroy a face-up spell or trap. So I guess if you can accelerate a bunch of cards in your graveyard with Dante, and getting Galaxy Cyclone in the graveyard can prevent Vanity's Emptiness from locking you out later in the duel. But I was going to say that outside of that face-up card, there's not really much he could probably be hitting with Galaxy Cyclone, right? So it's just going to be a spell speed 1, destroy a face-down spell or trap.
Pretty much. It could just be a case of whoever's able to force the opponent to make a poor use of one of their trap cards.
Yes.
Or just get rid of it before they have placed anything else onto the field to use for it.
Yeah.
Could gain an advantage here.
Yeah, the Burning Abyss mirror is actually pretty complicated because there's so many resources you have to worry about there. You have to worry about Dante's, Mail Branch triggers, how you're going to fight through their trap cards, how you're going to set up your next turn.
That's why I hate playing the same deck as the other person.
Yeah, it's most definitely a little more fun when it's like your deck versus their deck, but there's a little something special about mirror matches.
The other thing that gets me is a lot of the decks I play are complicated enough as is.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to keep track of my really complicated deck and your version of my really complicated deck at the same time,
Yeah.
I can't play 2 full days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like that. My brain will explode.
The reason I like when both players are using a different deck is because I feel like it's more personal. You put your own personal touch to your deck. You have your own deck type that you really like and appreciate. And it feels good to really pit that against your opponent, your opponent's preference, and the way they've decided to build their deck.
Foolish Burial is activated, sending Graph to the graveyard, which will special summon Seer from the deck.
Foolish Bear is probably one of the best, next to Tour Guide of the Underworld. One of those cards is most definitely one of the best things you can open up with in a duel, unless you have, talking about single cards.
Normal summon of Skarm.
Looks like a Farfa.
Is that I'm doing it again?
Oh, there's Galaxy Cyclone and Vanity's Fiend.
And you
All
can
right.
identify all the Burning Abyss cards. There's no way I'm going to play mirror matches all day for 2 days.
And that sets up the fire like, oh. But Raigeki, no, Raigeki doesn't even do that much. Actually, no, Raigeki does something. Raigeki can prevent Green from resolving a Fire Lake this turn, assuming that he can't get another Burning Abyss to play outside the one he's going to special summon off Graph.
Tour Guide of the Underworld comes
Ooh,
down.
Maxi, oh.
Maxi is activated.
Now, when Cunningham special summons a monster from his deck, Green will be able to draw 1 card.
But I doubt we'll be seeing much more of that this turn.
Yeah, so Cunningham was effectively stopped in his tracks there. If he decides that he does want to Xyz summon Dante or a different Xyz monster, Green will be able to draw more cards.
Yep. Something especially cool here is that if Cunningham chooses to, not press forward anymore, which seems likely, he can, and he goes to set back row, right? During the end phase, Green can Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss away, however many trap cards, and then also destroy the Graph. And then that forces Cunningham to make the decision whether he wants to special summon then, and then give Green another card of Maxi. But it seems like he's just going to press forward here.
He's pressing forward, summons Dante. Maybe he'll detach the Tour Guide, though.
No, doesn't look like
Graph. He really is pressing. Oh, another Graph.
Fiend Griefing and Galaxy Cyclone. In other matchups, might be great to see that Galaxy Cyclone against Ritual Beast, for example, running Mistake.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe
If,
not with your Burning Abyss deck, but I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
I don't know if I really like him pressing through that Maxi so much.
We actually saw this in a Burning Abyss Ritual Beast match in Columbus,
Really?
where somebody managed to both activate Galaxy Cyclone to take out a face down and use it to blow up.
That's cool.
I think might have been Dimensional Fissure.
Yeah. The reason that Cunningham could just be pressing forward here is that he realizes that he might not be able to win otherwise because of how good of an opener Green had, and then backed it up by Maxi. We were talking about earlier how the best way to use Maxi is exactly this. You put out this board there, you're like, oh, well, you're going to have to answer this. If you don't deal with my field, I'm probably going to gain more advantage the following turn and mount such a large offense or defense that you won't be able to like surmount it.
Yeah, I mean, but Cunningham's monsters aren't that big. If he's planning to just get the monsters on the field so he can use his Fire Lake, which certainly seems viable for what he's doing, I don't think that is that adequately offsets the 3 cards he just let Green draw.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I don't think playing through
through
Maxi was necessarily the best thing here either, but it could just be desperate times called for desperate measures sort of situation.
Possible. It's possible.
I mean, he's made it this far, so we can't fault him too much.
Yes, and I haven't disagreed with any play he's made up to this point, but I'm
but
I'm
this
certainly doubting.
okay.
I am doubting this one. But what do I know? He's in the finals. I'm sitting here doing commentary.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you've made a finals before.
I have.
Yeah.
But then again, you also did not win.
I also lost in the finals. That's correct.
Raigeki comes down next. And now Noah Green is faced with the decision of whether or not he wants to drop that Fire Lake.
Yeah, this is why I think the Raigeki much earlier in the turn might have been the optimal line.
And this Fire Lake seems pretty good here because if he destroys the Sur and he uses Sur's effect, that's another draw from Maxi.
Seems very similar to what I mentioned earlier with the graph.
He got himself in pretty deep.
No, but he chose not to.
Let's go.
So maybe he just doesn't have Fire Lake. Gets back Farfa. Curious. Yes, he can. Oh, he can use a discard trap to get rid of the Sur, and then have Farfa banish the Dante, removing the material under it. So when it comes back, it can't use its effect the following turn, right? Is that like what he's trying to do, I guess? But otherwise than that, I don't see the biggest. Why getting Farfa here might be the best thing. I am. Oh, how many cards is he? 4 or 5?
4 cards in hand.
Yeah. Does Green have a Fire Lake? Do we know for sure?
No, we do not.
Oh, Chase has one.
Yeah, Chase has one for sure. He also has Vanity's Emptiness. One reason why I saw him pushing, I thought he was going to try to make some like just big monster with Vanity's Emptiness and hope that will win him the game, just give his opponent a bunch of cards and hope, I guess. But actually, no. Was Green the one who milled Galaxy Cyclone, or was...
They both did.
Okay, well, Vanity's Emptiness is not going to be the best.
Yeah, so they both have a Galaxy Cyclone in their graveyards now.
And Green has a fistful of monsters.
Yes.
Farfa, Graf, Skarm, Seer, Barba. But they can't be special summoned yet, because there are still face downs on the field. And that is, another Fiend Griefing. Rather, an opposing Fiend Griefing. That's right, Cunningham played the first one. And he goes after the Graph, sending that back. And sends a Graph of his own. Basically, the emptiness is one shot. At this point, he can get 1 negation. Or 1 special summon prevention.
Yeah, he can trade it for 1. Yeah, exactly what you said.
So he'll use the Graph's effect, special summon. That is, in fact, a Skarm in defense mode.
Pretty sure about this one. I think it's a Skarm.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's playing rares and supers just to throw you off drum.
Yeah. All his Skarms look different.
Keep you on your toes.
Oh, he's so good he's even defeating me.
Yes.
And I'm not even playing.
Exactly. This may be our North American World Championship qualifier winner.
Mind games are real.
Indeed.
Now he looks like he's normal summoning Sur.
And now Cunningham is faced with the decision of
Fire
he's
Lake.
going to flip the Fire Lake. No,
No, Wing
he
Blast.
goes Phoenix Wing
Yeah,
Blast.
Wing Blast is
Ooh.
most definitely better here. Fire Liking, Sir, Skarm aren't necessarily the best, but here is
There's the fire
This
lake.
is the
Yeah.
plus side.
Fire.
Yes.
Wow. There goes
Jeez.
all the back rows. Fire Lake won't help him now.
Yeah.
His
he'll get a
Sir's
Sir.
effect, he can use one of the two. Vanity's
Absolutely
emptiness
rough.
is gone.
Yeah.
That was a blowout.
Oh man.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Graph
See, he
comes
did have
back.
Fire Lake the whole time.
Yeah, he did have the Fire Lake. He could have used it before, but this was way more effective.
Oh yes, yes. He most definitely played that very, very
Yeah,
well.
he saved it to hit the back rows, successfully did so, and now it looks like he's won this duel.
Even though it seems tempting to use Fire Lake in response to the Raigeki earlier, knowing that all your Burning Abyss are probably just going to get you more Burning Abyss monsters, right?
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly
he
what
was able
He
to
can
wait
just save
Green-
it for later.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what Green thought. If I let them get destroyed now, that's fine. They'll replace themselves. I don't need to destroy them with my own Fire Lake. I can just destroy the replacements with my Fire Lake, and they'll also replace themselves.
Yeah.
All right, Farfa is special summoned. I think I got him straight this time.
Yeah.
If I see both of them in the same turn,
Maybe he specifically
straight.
added back Farfa knowing that he was probably going to use the effects of Graph or Sir, and that Farfa was just a monster that he could special summon. You know what I mean? Use its effects strictly to
yeah.
accelerate. That could be why. And yeah, leaving it under Dante also seems good because if Cunningham ever tries to get over the Dante, he can maybe get a little additional value out of Farfa banishing something that would otherwise deal some damage or whatever, save himself some life points or kill another or destroy another monster.
Wow, he goes straight to Dante, straight to Downward Magician without using Dante's effect because he wants the extra 200 attack points.
Or because he has... Wait, did you use Farfa or Graph as the material? I mean,
Both.
Grapha or Sir? It was Graph?
looks like Graph.
Oh, maybe
Maybe he had already...
it wasn't for the attack points?
No, I think it might have been that he might want the Graph for next turn, or he's already used Graph this turn. Both seem very likely.
And he's picked up Tour Guide
Yeah,
with the Skarm that was
during
sent to the
the phase.
graveyard earlier.
Well, Cunningham still managed to mill Sir, but he does not have any targets. And
Really? There's not a single other Burning
There
Abyss
must be
monster in
something
there?
like
he
there.
is shaking his head. He is rattling his fist. I think he realized this is the writing on the wall, and you can't help but see Green smile just a little bit. This could be it.
He's pretty pumped.
Yeah, I would be too. Not only is he going to Kyoto, Japan to compete in the World Championship qualifier, or the World Championship. No, this is the World Championship qualifier. The World Championship already, but claiming first most definitely gets him a little bit spicier of a set of prizes in second place. So.
And of course, all those bragging rights.
Yes, I am the best player currently in
Not-
North America.
Only one person can say that he is the North American World Championship qualifier winner
Yeah.
for
Rubik
2015.
is special summon.
The current.
Yeah, the reigning.
Yeah, the current North American WCQ champion.
Yeah, so
C
there's
summons
Rubik.
for another Dante.
Can't get over Downward Magician, right?
Dante detaches Graph, sending another Graph.
Parapara Cerberus.
Parapara
That gives him
Cerberus.
a glimmer.
That was pretty
And
good.
Karma Cut.
But yeah, Green still has so many cards in hand, probably from that Max C earlier.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't help.
Yep. And this game might actually be a little closer if he did not have so many draws off of Maxi. But actually, no. If he wouldn't have pressed through the Maxi, the Fire Lake probably would have got him for most, if not all, of his traps.
Maybe.
And do you think he might just not commit any trap cards that turn that he gets Maxied? See, that
I
also
don't know.
seems...
He could have committed one trap card, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Right?
could see
He could have
that,
set
yeah.
his own Burning Lake.
Yeah, but he couldn't even activate it because he just had Tour Guide. It was Tour Guide and Graph because he stopped.
You're
because
right.
you assume he would
You're
stop
right.
there. Yeah.
So not the Fire Lake.
Cunningham crashes his new Dante into Downward Magician, which is at 2,700 attack points, and that's actually the first life point damage that was done in this duel.
Oh, no,
Throughout
well-
the entire thing, the interesting thing about this duel is that it's just been a huge positional battle
Yes.
without the scores really changing.
And so he takes this opportunity to add back Fire Lake via Dante, and then Green adds back Sir. But he chooses not to use Parapara Cerberus, I think, for the better. Because there's no reason to try to destroy that down and have both those Burning Abyss monsters trigger. You'd rather use it later on something,
Totally agree.
hopefully a set spell or trap.
Yeah. Because if he destroys the Downward Magician, with it off of Green's field, Green will be once again free to summon
Also-
Burning Abyss
also
monsters
very
to the
true.
field without them destroying themselves.
Yes.
As we know, there's 5 of them in his hand.
And there it is. He drew
Oh,
out.
and he comes
Galaxy
up with
Cyclone off the
Galaxy
top
Cyclone.
for
We see a
Green.
hand. We see
And
hand
Cunningham is
shaking.
like, what
He
Cunningham
cannot
can't
believe
believe
it.
can you possibly have anything else? And Noah Green with his gargantuan hand off of Max. He says, yeah, I've actually got a lot of other things. Let me show you my Burning Abyss monsters.
Well, I don't think he's going to be showing them too soon because any of them would destroy themselves.
Yeah. You most definitely don't chain Fire Lake here, right?
No,
You gotta
I
leave-
can't
you leave
imagine
down
chaining
it.
Fire
Okay,
Lake.
no way.
Just making sure.
So your opponent can summon 5 monsters and beat you.
I mean, we saw him push through a Maxi, so.
It's got
Who
Tour
knows?
Guide from the Underworld, though, so
Yes.
he can mount an offensive still.
Okay, yeah. And then
Yeah. So even with Downer and Magician on the field, he can summon a
he
Tour
could also
Guide
potentially
and-
Farfa. He can attack with Downerd and have the Farfa banish his own Downerd, and then special summon the Graph, and then make a huge field. But
That would be interesting.
he could also, yeah, and doing that play could also let him Virgil either the Scarm that he puts in the graveyard or the Dante that's already on the field. So this,
Attacking into Scarm.
yeah.
He's so far ahead.
That'll
that-
hit for 500.
Yep. And here's the Farfa. Yep, on Downer Magician. And now we'll see a Graph trigger.
And this is all still in the battle phase.
But
yeah.
the Downer Magician's going to... Oh, by
But
the time the
he's gonna-
Downer
yeah.
Magician comes back, he's only going to have...
He's already going to have Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil on the field.
And there's Barbar.
and-
And is that a normal summon or a special?
Most definitely a special summon because it was in defense position.
Yes.
Summons Virgil.
So let's load up.
Virgil's the Scarm from the grave, it looks like. Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't get a search. The Dante isn't that threatening, but a Scarm search for a Burning Abyss or a Tour Guide.
So Scarm's effect,
Significantly more so.
Scarm's effect activates in the end phase. So
Correct.
no matter when you destroy it, if it's sent back to the deck or banished, if it's not in the graveyard in the end phase, you don't get to add a card from your deck to your hand with
Indeed.
its effect. So Green took advantage of that. Then he loaded up his field with Dante and Virgil, upgraded his Dante into a Downer Magician, and then in the end phase, a Downer Magician returned to his field after being banished from Farfa. All of those monsters can survive without burning Abyss monsters on the field, so that was a very effective use of Farfa on his own monster.
Chase Cunningham
Maxi
draws
on-
Maxi
yeah.
after
Oh.
all of the chaos has reigned.
Yep, so Maxi is probably the best card in the Burning Abyss mirror, except for right now.
Yeah, certainly powerful there.
Yeah.
Certainly not powerful right here.
I mean, as a level 2 insect monster that you can set,
With 500 attack points.
a whopping 500.
2
Yeah.
piercing battle damage monsters.
Yeah,
I
that's
cannot
right.
imagine a
field.
better card to draw when you are this far behind in the finals of the North American WCQ.
It looks like it's over. Well, he's got 7,300 life points, so he can hang in there,
Maybe for a turn.
yeah, for a little while.
He most
But-
definitely has to set that Maxi if he's actually going to survive. Because the Dante's just going to get spun away by Virgil.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if he chose his draws for the rest of the game, he would still lose.
That is quite possibly
Skips to main phase 2.
true.
Goes for
Is-
Downer Magician.
All right,
and
so at least if
passes.
he Virgil's...
Yeah, so the Virgil
uses
can add
Virgil's
back.
effect to
Yeah.
return Downer Magician to the deck, Dante will go to the graveyard, and
Right.
its effect will activate to allow Cunningham to add a Burning Abyss card from his graveyard to his hand.
Yeah,
Here-
I don't think it's going to help, though, because
No,
it gets
he's way too
Oh, but he has
outmatched.
Para
got
Circles.
Pero.
Oh,
All right.
Virgil puts it back
Oh,
just in case. Oh, man. And then the Farfa clears that.
oh my.
If he has a Sir is a game with the Barbar damage. 2,500 plus, what's the base attack? Oh, and there's
Yeah,
the
he's
handshake.
offering the handshake.
Oh, man.
We have
There
our
it is.
2015 North American WCQ champion.
Noah Green has won with Burning Abyss, defeating Chase Cunningham
Yeah.
and 2,058 other duelists here in Nashville, Tennessee, to take the title of North American champion of 2015. We'll see these two along
Yes.
with our other qualifiers in Kyoto, Japan in a bit more than a month. But before we close things out, we're going to make sure to recognize our winners. They'll receive their prizes and trophies.
I'm quite jealous of the trophies this year. They are massive.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yes. I saw one earlier, and I would most definitely have to pick it up with 2 hands. And that's how I know that those trophies are awesome.
Now, Mike, you've had one of these trophies before, or a trophy. What's that like trying to get it back home?
Yeah, I honestly don't even remember. I remember the trophy I got from Showing Jump Philadelphia perfectly. But I can't remember from the WCQ because I was so excited to just be going to Japan.
I remember for when I got my WCQ trophy in 2013, I was the same thing. I won my playoffs match, and I was just so excited that even though my trophy was so much smaller than everyone else's, the fact that I had qualified just made my day.
So I don't know if these players realize it, but they're in for the time of their lives when they go to the World Championship.
Indeed.
It's an event that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And
Unless you win.
Unless you win, as we mentioned
lifetime.
before, then it's twice in a lifetime unless you win again. The winner of the World Championship is generally invited back to compete in next year's World Championship.
We actually have somebody in this year's World Championship who's on his 3rd trip.
Yes, that's true. Galley.
There was a convoluted
right.
sequence of events a few years back in 2010.
Yeah,
that
we got the
him
invite
to
passed down
qualify,
so much.
all the way down to 7th place, where he made it and then won the World Championship and got to come back next year.
And
but
then
this time he's taken the Central American World Championship qualifier.
Off of the invite from the invite from winning the World Championships, he also top 4'd the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he most definitely has by far the most impressive showing as far as World Championships go.
I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a good tournament, I think, in August. And you can see everybody's just mobbing him on the stage. The crowd went completely insane when he got the handshake. Let's look at that.
Yeah, I mean, oh, and there he is up in the air.
Lifting it up.
Yeah.
There he is, Noah Green.
And there it is. This might be a trend because we saw the same thing at the 150th with T.J. Kinsley. But here, Noah, this is Noah's day. So this is awesome. Awesome to see such a. I was so impressed with his play. Not that he did anything absurdly. Oh well, I would have never considered this, but it was always so consistent, always so on point. We saw him show some diligence with not flipping Fire Lake when it seemed ideal with the Raigeki that turn, or not ideal, but it seemed tempting.
That was a particularly impressive play because it showed a lot of restraint. And
yes,
that's the type of a restraint and self-discipline that only the top duelists have, and I think that will be a tremendous asset to him when he competes in the World Championship later this year.
You don't necessarily have to make the most profound plays. You just have to make the right ones.
Indeed.
And that's what we got a lot of in that final match.
He most definitely showed what it takes.
And this has been, it's been kind of a strange weekend.
Oh, yes.
All things considered.
We saw Ritual Beast make a huge impact.
Yeah, Ritual Beasts were gargantuan. And a lot of people wrote them off, especially at the 150th. Even after the 150th, when they outperformed Shadows by a significant margin.
Yeah, no one should have written them off after the 150th when they placed decks in the top 32.
But they did, and that opened up the window for a lot of people to do well here.
I think a big reason why it may have been written off is because they expected it to be more so like a fluke, like, oh, people weren't prepared. Now people understand what the cards do. This probably won't happen again. And yet it happened again.
Yeah. Because they didn't prepare, because they thought everybody else would do the preparing for them.
Exactly.
That's one thing that you can't really take for granted. You actually have to do all the work yourself.
And that's a particularly complicated deck to learn.
It is.
There's a lot of intricate combos and a lot to keep track of as far as which monsters are being special summoned throughout the duel.
Compared to the Infernity deck from last year, which one do you think is more complicated to play?
Ritual Beast or Infernity?
Ritual Beast or Infernity.
Which version of Infernity are we talking about?
Let's go for the one from last year's WCQ that was then used again in the World Championship.
In the World Championship? I think I would still probably have to give it to Infernity.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the lines seem much more complex, and it seems like you can do a lot more, whereas the Ritual Beast is, I'm going to get as many different names as I can in my Banish Zone and do these loops with Kanahawk to try to add Steeds and Ambush, and then flip an Ambush so I can flip a Steeds to gain some advantage, and then try to ride out that advantage to win the game, whereas the Infernity deck is just this long series of steps, making sure you Lavalva chain the right cards, Diamond Dowering your own cards, all these other things. So I think I would give it to Infernity.
I think the biggest shocker this weekend is Not only did Necros not win, it didn't even make the finals, wasn't even the most represented deck from the top 8 down.
Yes, it was the most represented in the top 64
Yeah,
for sure.
Made it to top 64,
Yeah,
absolutely.
roughly 54%.
Yeah, and
of
that
the
just
top
made it
64.
all the more surprising when it was eliminated from the
When it
tournament.
all just kept dropping off.
Yeah.
Especially after every other tournament since it came out, it was just Necros,
Yeah,
Necros,
but
Necros,
it's
Necros,
just
Necros.
players have been increasingly aware of the Necros presence and fine-tuning their decks to beat it.
Yeah,
And it's been around for so long that players are used to it. Players are able to beat it. Necros is a powerful deck, but it is far from unbeatable.
It also has kind of an upper limit on the number of different new things you can do with it to surprise people.
Yeah,
That's true,
there's
too.
so many cards you need to play in the Necros deck. There's this core amount of cards, and you can only do so many things, and it's only so versatile. Because your strategy, it's just any ritual strategy is just going to be inherently linear because you're trying to ritual summon as much as possible.
And yet we saw a lot of cool things in Necros decks this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot
of the
really
limited
cool
space there was left,
Yeah.
I mean, people went and found it.
Yeah.
The whole Exa and Archmage thing
Yeah.
we hadn't really seen.
No, yeah, that was most definitely, this
Exactly.
tournament was the first time I had ever seen it.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. We also saw the cool Drone Lockbird Durandal combos.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype about that.
Secret
weeks
Village.
leading
We
up
saw
to it.
people, even the Necros, using Secret Village. They set up a Necros of Gungnir with a Secret Village, prevent their opponent from even summoning a Spellcaster because of the Necros of Gungnir. Did you guys see any Naturia Beasts on camera?
We did not.
There are a bunch of really cool Naturia Beast combos that involve usually Mathematician or the Desk Bots. So you basically...
We didn't see a single death spot.
Okay, yeah. So you use Mathematician to send Glow Up Bulb, or you can Evolve All Chain Glow Up Bulb to the graveyard, or you can use Deskbot 003 to special summon Deskbot 001, which is a level 1 Earth Tuner.
Right.
And then they make a MX Saber Invoker, usually using a Colossus along with the level 3 that they first summoned, so Despot 003 or Mathematician. And then they summon a monster like Bullblade or Exiled Force that they're already playing to use as Jin outs, which meets the rest of the requirements to summon Naturia Beast because they have the 1-star tuner plus the level 4 non-tuner Earth. Or
Right.
they'll also use cards like Instant Fusion. So yeah, there was most definitely a bunch of different flavors of Necros this weekend, but none of them seemed to be up to snuff.
All right. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to officially crown our North American champion of 2015. It is the award ceremony, and it's coming up shortly. Yeah.
Stay tuned.